not as important as to not have ill will is. So I think that's pretty much the reason why people would be thinking about forgiveness and so on. It's because of the ill will. So ill will is a problem, and the only way for you to know how to not have ill will is to forgive. But forgiveness is not necessary in order for ill will to not be. In other words, you could not have ill will and not forgive. So you forgive, but not foolishly pretend that it never happened. If it's something of thing that's actually beneficial for you to not forget. Like, when the Buddha would say, you should reflect what type of people you're associating with. Don't just indiscriminately sort of make friendships and when some people are simply not good for you or not good for themselves or others, unwholesome. So you want to use reflection intelligence even when you basically choose friends. So if there is something that you want to forgive, by all means. You don't have to hold a grudge or have ill will towards that person. So if that's what's meant by forgiveness, then it's important to not have ill will. So it's important to forgive. But if by forgiveness it's meant, it's important to pretend like it never happened or like it will never happen again, no, that's just foolish. That's not really the forgiveness you should be practicing or trying to develop. So you don't want to lose your intelligence, discernment, and see, like, what is the likelihood of this person doing this again? And your reason will tell you. You already know the answer. So if it's a high likelihood that whatever you're required to forgive will be repeated, I will not bear a grudge, I will not have ill will, but I don't want to have to go through this again because I don't see any change in the behavior of that person. So it's most likely going to happen again. And thus, from that point of view, you're not ignoring it. So you're not forgiving it, so to speak. And you don't need to forgive it as long as you don't hate them on account of it. So what you want to see then is what is up to you. Whether others forgive you or not, that's not up to you, and you have no right to demand forgiveness. But what is up to you is to see what led up to the basically result of needing forgiveness of others, your actions. So if you want to be forgiven, or rather if you don't want to be in a position that you will have to be forgiven again, start reflecting upon your actions and your thoughts and your speech. Stop being careless. The true repentance would be then changing your ways so that you will not end up in a position again whereby you will need others to forgive you. So that's what I meant, like, whether you are the one forgiving or you need to be forgiven, you don't want to just, forgiveness means let's just pretend never happened. Forgiveness means let's see if this will happen again. So is this person really making a change in their ways so they will not do this again, or they're just trying to make me believe that they are? But what is the likelihood of that? So even if they're trying to make you believe they're going to change their way, you accept that, you give them the benefit of the doubt, but doesn't mean you forget. You pretend like it will never happen. Don't forget. Don't lose the context on certain behavior. And the same goes for you. If you want to be forgiven, it's easy to be inspired to change your ways when there is basically unforgiving people around you and you feel bad for what you've done and they're not forgiving you and you feel horrible. It's easy then to inspire and make promises. But that kind of adverse pressure will fade. So it can't last forever. So will you be able to then keep your promises of your changed ways after that? Will you still be able to, but no, this is still the right thing to do or not? So if you really truly want to be forgiven, and if you truly want to not end up in a position where you would need to be forgiven, you need to start using your reason and your intellect for criteria for your action, not your emotions. Because you were careless, acting out of how you felt, not really thinking through, you ended in a position of hurting other people, Now they need to forgive you. Now when you're so desperate for forgiveness, that's another emotion, another unpleasant state that you really want to get rid of. So you're equally not reasonable even when you make your promises that you are a changed man and so on. You're still acting out of your emotions, and they are unpredictable. And they are unreasonable by definition. So the true repentance then is for the one who goes beyond carelessness, beyond acting out of how you feel, beyond acting out of craving how you feel. As I said, people are more often than not truly sorry for what they've done, but it doesn't mean that in the long run they will change their ways. They're simply under the pressure of that bad feeling of their action, what they've done and so on. They're aware of it, but will they change their way? Well, you see that after that feeling is gone, are they still acting the same, carelessly pretending like it never happened, or truly making the effort? So there's no guarantee that the person will change their ways, and there is no guarantee for you that you can tell at that stage. You can only see that later on. That's what I mean. If you are the one doing the forgiving, you can forgive in terms of don't have ill will, but do not forget that things can be repeated. Especially if the evidence shows you that. So it doesn't mean like, I will hate you for the rest of it. It simply means like, I will be careful whenever I engage with you so I don't end up in a position I need to forgive you again. Because your actions created that. And if somebody demands from you that you must pretend it never happened and just let's just ignore this because that's the true forgiveness, it's not. They're just basically asking you to forsake your intellect so that they will feel better.